Greetings! Test. I don't know if it's working. Is it working? Can everybody hear me? But I think we have audio issues. Because alright, I think let me check something. Anyways, in case it works, because there's supposed to be some little green light telling me that we're audio-wise okay. But anyways, greetings everybody to episode 18 of the Ashes of Creation Community Podcast. I'm your host, the Big Chick Giant, and today's guests are Bell, one of the community moderators, and Okies. How you doing, guys? Oh. Okay, yeah. I don't know why, but I muted myself. That was really professional. Alright. Okay, Bell, okay, are you there?
Yep.
Alright, yeah, I just did the whole introduction. I apparently muted myself for some reason. This is starting to be awesome. Okay, anyway.
That is outstanding.
That is outstanding and so professional. Oh my god, it's like I'm doing this for the first time. Okay, so for those who didn't hear it, or I don't know if it transmitted, this is gonna be episode 18. Today's guests are one of the community moderators and one of the most awesome people that I know, which is Bell, and one of the most knowledgeable people within the community when it comes to video games, which is Okies. How you doing, guys?
I am doing awesome. How about yourself?
I'm doing great.
Doing good. Early, but doing good.
Barely, but doing good. All right. Okay, so today is gonna be a little bit different because I did some market research. Let's call it market research, and we're gonna skip the whole since when have you been involved with the Ashes part, because I feel like a lot of people that are on the podcast and that come back to the podcast, I think everybody knows them. So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna jump right into the first real topic. Which this time around is a phrase Steven uses quite a lot when it comes to describing PvP, which is meaningful combat. And for those of you who are watching, and for those of you who know how I operate when I do these podcasts, is I come in the community Discord, I read the forums, and I start topics. And one of the things that a lot of people, in my opinion, this is my personal opinion, like most of the stuff that I say is my personal opinion, but this is how we get conversations started, is the phrase meaningful combat. I think a lot of people do not understand what Steven means by that. Because at least when I hear Steven talk about it, I understand that there are ways for PvP to happen without it being a freaking grief fest or people, ganking up on somebody. So, Okies, why do you think that there's still such a misunderstanding when it comes to the phrase meaningful combat for some people?
I think some of it comes to wanting like their version of something. We still have a lot of that. I want the game to be like this at the moment.
Okay. So, Bell, what do you think? Like, what's your opinion on meaningful combat?
I think honestly the paradox that we have here is that Ashes is such an early state of development that a lot of people haven't seen anything showcased to even demonstrate the principles that he's trying to reflect in his vision for it. So until we really start seeing something more tangible, it's going to be hard for some people to understand the vision.
Okay. If I say that because Steven wants to, like, Steven, it's Steven's game, right? It's his game, and I think a lot of people that are coming from other games like ArcAge, Black Desert Online, where you can gank and grief people till I don't know, till times ends, are not used to the term meaningful combat, because I think that people want a PvP without any regard for anything. So now that you actually have, and okay, I'm looking at your notes here because okay actually wrote down some notes. You wrote down, where is it? the whole PvP combat carries weight in the form of items lost. So this time around, when you go into combat, it should have meaning, because otherwise, if you lose, you just lost a couple items. How do you guys see that whole aspect of the game? Who wants to go first, Bell? Bell, you go first.
Sure. I think that the key here is that when we look at things in terms of the conflicts that's going to happen in the game, yeah, you're going to lose items and stuff like that when you go corrupt. But the key here to keep it from going into the griefing area is that you need to put out there opportunities where PvP can be drawn to a head with a focused determination. If you're just ganking somebody over the same, let's say it's a farming resource area over and over again, and you start to build up corruption, where's the real value? But unfortunately, that's what you had in other games, such as Arcade to Video, where there was such a limited degree of opportunity. I think with Ashes, some of the things that we're going to see, maybe with caravans or some of the world bosses or the open world dungeons, is going to drive a better focus. So with more opportunity is going to come more focus on those options rather than the individual griefing that we see too commonly in MMORPGs.
Okay. Yeah, like I think I agree on that part, especially because I rather, like, if I do something and I have to do PvP because I want to do it, I enjoy myself more than when PvP gets forced on by me by a complete stranger. Okay, what do you think?
Well, I like the idea of the naturally occurring PvP. The idea they have is amazing. I love the idea that we don't have to go seeking PvP. It will just happen in events in areas that people will naturally be or be drawn to.
Okay.
The corruption system will draw a lot of people out to being, griefers, and that will get flagged a lot more often.
Okay.
I just hope that the risk and the cons of doing it will outweigh the pros of them just griefing people.
I mean, another statement that Steven made, and like one of the I think it was either the first live stream or the second one. And actually it was also part of a question that he answered. It was one of my questions and he answered on the live stream, where I asked, are there any ways around the karma system to prevent the game from becoming a grief fest? And he just stated straight up that the game is not designed to be a grief fest. So do you think that people, I think a lot of people, they will do PvP because when they have to. For example, when they have to protect a caravan and another node, wants to weaken the enemy. I get that PvP makes sense to me. But do you think there's still gonna be an amount of people that are just gonna go around and try to risk their own items, risk their own benefits for whatever reason, just to grieve other people? Do you think people will really try to go around and do non-meaningful combat?
I do, absolutely. I think that no matter what you build, even in the perfect system of having a true balance or a true drive that allows you to explore the PvP aspect, there are going to be those folks that just love the troll and they want to cause that level of strife and disharmony, and that's their focus. So if that's their playstyle and what they want to do, that's what they are going to do, regardless of what you put into the system.
All right. Okay, so this one is gonna go to Okies. It's gonna be has something to do with the topic, but Okies, I want to ask you this: do you think Intrepid, and Steam Sharif, and everybody who works in Intrepid will be able to adjust quickly in case people do find a way around the karma system and will turn the game into a grief fest?
Oh yes, from the way Steven said it, even in streams, they're looking at ways to evolve the system so that if they tag someone and they do the repeat offense, that's something that they can jump on top of quickly. The people already talking about, if I lose gear, I'll just wear bad gear and just grief people that way.
Yeah.
He already said too that some of the things that will make it hard for griefers is this, if they implement the scissor paper rock PvP system, where some other classes are hard counters to the class of the person griefing. which will actually make it more difficult to just roam around griefing people. They'd have to really be dedicated and intelligent enough to know when they're going to have to flee because they're outnumbered by their counter.
Okay. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, yeah, like, I really hope that it will stay as meaningful combat, because honestly, I don't mind doing PvP if it makes sense, if it has some meaning.
The other thing that, like, the way I liked what other people I've been talking to have said, which I think resonates here, was it's not the stopping it, it's just putting things in place that makes it harder and more of a deterrent for them to want to do it.
Okay.
So by making it harder with the scissor paper rock system, by adding in the corruption, whatever other systems they're adding in place to make it harder and harder for them, it will be more of a deterrent, which makes it not fun. Once it becomes not, I'm ganking people, ha ha ha, this is fun, it loses its amusement.
Okay, gotcha.
And that's the goal that will be good.
Oh, Bella said it's good. Okay, Bella, what do you want to say?
Yeah, I have to completely disagree with you, because some people play the game for that drive. That's their focus, and they're not going to lose. If it becomes a penal system to the point that PvP is punishable outside of any approved areas, you might as well just disable it. Yes, everybody probably knows by now I'm a huge proponent for PvP systems. I like to have the open world systems. I understand that there needs to be a corruption mechanic to kind of bring some balance. But guys, there are players like myself who just want to seek out the PvE. PvE really is, an added extra. So whatever elements become available to us, we're going to seek it out to get the most out of the game that we want.
I'm all meant.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. I'm all meant in the way of, like, griefing under PvP, not just PvP in general.
I mean,
like, systems in place for people who are going to, which has already been stated by some people, if they wanted to run around and kill people a lot lower than them, how that would affect the player itself, because at that point it becomes unfun to that lower level player. Like, that fine line between PvP and having fun to just outright griefing.
It's going to be hard for them to institute any type of a system of balance, I think, in that regards, unless it's maybe like you had alluded to, level-based. Let's say I'm level 50, you're level 10, and I'm out there killing you because I think you're a cuck. I just, how am I going to be punished for that? Maybe you could look at a system in that regards, but ultimately, like, the focus is for people that are PvP driven, are going to be things like, how can I steal your caravan? How can I really profit from it? Because if it's just griefing, either you piss me off and I'm farming you for a reason, or if it doesn't matter, I'm not getting really anything out of it, I'm not going to be bothered.
I know some people that will do it just for the sake of making the other person upset.
Yeah, like those people I hunt to death.
That idea, like, some people have thrown around the idea of, hopefully with the corruption system, that if you're a different level, the person with the higher level, if they're continuously killing someone, the corruption would go up quicker or something like that. So, like, your level disparity would increase how quick they reach their max corruption.
Like a modifier?
Yeah. We don't know whether that would be something implemented, but it's something that would just deter people from killing those lower level players.
I mean, de-incentivize it. It's less about being penal and saying that there's no benefit to it is what's going to cause the interest to be, decline.
I mean,
the interest in it usually is just, I'm killing that person and I'm upsetting them. Like, that's the thing that's the problem.
Okay, I have to be honest here. Like, I done that in World of Warcraft. I went into the neutral zones and killed low level players just because I was bored. Till like their entire guild came and pretty much wiped the floor with me. I mean, that part right there, like the thing we're talking about right now, is high level players easily killing low level players. That for me is not meaningful combat. That's straight up griefing, because you're purposely killing a low level player that has no chance against you, just to, I don't know, mess up their day. Like, let's say there's two coins to that, two sides to that coin. I guess if a low level character or low level characters, even if they do a caravan, then it becomes meaningful.
Yeah.
So
But when at that point you're initiating the sort of combat PvP event. That's different to someone who is playing, who is being seeked out by the high level player continuously.
yeah.
Like if I run past and Bell kills me, I can take that on the shoulder because I'm in a PvP game.
And I
But
think that's the key element right there, Okies, is that you have to realize this is going to be a PvP game. It's going to have a strong element for that there. Um, if it's open world, really de-incentivizing the whole ganking thing to where there's nothing really gained, nothing really lost. Yeah, you might lose a little bit of items and stuff like that, but really, what's the reward? I'm gonna even me. I mean, if you piss me off and I want to farm you, I'll only hit you a couple times and carry on. But the chances of me wanting to do that to somebody who's 40 levels lower than me, it's like, how do I even know you? Why would my energy need to be focused on you to begin with? I think in Ashes we're gonna see enough content that you're not going to have those people that are so inherently bored that that's all they can seek out to do is grief people. Hopefully.
hopefully.
Except for my girlfriend, because that's all she does anyhow, because she's shit at PvP.
I know we had a couple of people who made the comment that they would do it just on certain people, and that's where we were trying to steer them away, saying like don't do that, because there's in some games, especially WoW now, they've added it in so that griefing, the hard line for griefing is if you keep killing that same person over and over and over again. The point where it's not a combat system anymore, where it's just you stomping the person into the ground repeatedly.
Okay, let's say we agree to disagree on the topic.
I agree with Bill wholeheartedly.
All right, let's jump to the next topic. Okay, so meaningful combat aside, one of the main things people got excited about on the Kickstarter is the underground or underrealm race, the Tolnar, which we pretty much know nothing about. I think I have, yes, I do have an image of the silhouettes we've seen. And just based on these silhouettes, I still do not know what to expect. So what I want to know now from Bell and Oki is, what do you think the Tolnar will look like? Because some of them, they just look like orcs. Other ones, they look like something out of a freaking horror movie. And the other ones look like a barbarian had sex with a freaking lizard. So
does that work for you?
It kind of works for me. No, because here's like one of the questions, because Oki also wrote that down in his notes. Okay, by the way, Oki, love you for writing down your notes. The world and the history, especially when it comes to the Underrealm, because we know that the Tolnar are a race where all the other races in the world, or some of the other races in the world, they mixed. So, for example, I know, and I'm looking at it right now, and everybody who's watching is looking at it right now, there are some silhouettes with tails. So, can we assume that there is, I don't know, there used to be like a tail, like a lizard race or a race that had a tail in the past?
You know, when I look at it overall, first of all, yeah, the silhouettes are a decent guide. They're a little bit dated. But when you look at the world that we've already seen for the Tolnar with its bioluminescence, it's clearly filled with flora and fauna. Clearly, these guys are evolving into species that they're interacted with inside of that environment. And when you look at some like the cave-dwelling species in the real world and see things like lizards and stuff like that, that's where I picture them. Now, we did see that recent footage from Steve that was released in the live stream where we saw those cat-like monsters with crystals on their back. So obviously there's a high fantasy element that's going to be thrown into the mix of all of that, because you're not going to see a cat, 3,000 feet beneath the surface walking around a bioluminescent pond in any world. But so it's going to be interesting. Maybe they're going to have some type of maybe it's even a draconian element. Like, I don't know, BCG or Okies, if you guys were ever fond of the Dragonlance series, but they had those characters, the Draconians.
Yes.
Maybe it might be something like that.
Okay, what do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whenever a half race comes into the game, we always say blame the bard because they caused it. But yeah, I like the idea. The premise of mixed race was the bit that was a bit confusing to me. Like the mixed interspecies on top of being humanoid that I'm interested to see. I think of it the way of almost like in D&D, the way they view Dragonborn,
Yeah.
a dragon race that become more humanoid over time.
I gotcha.
And this would be other reptilian or mammalian creatures like tigers or leopards or something else.
Like what?
You know what I have to ask is, okay, so what do you think about corruption overall? What do you really think the root of corruption is? Because I think that's going to be the determining factor of the evolution and ideology of these this race as a whole, since we know they began as something else.
I wasn't sure whether like I had an idea between the Tulnar and the idea of corruption, and also an idea on how it was based beyond. So like the corruption affecting the top world was something that why people were sent away, because it could affect them and turn them a specific way. Like we could see creatures that Stephen's shown that have been corrupted. Whether
Oh,
the Tulnar are a creature that can't be corrupted directly, so they were changed a bit. So over time, the corruption has seeped into their like body and stuff,
so you
which
mean
is why they got like an animalistic creature feature.
So let me ask you this, Oki. So are you talking about something along the terms of like radiation mutation of a cell, or
Yes.
the T virus?
More towards the over time radiation effect that can happen.
Yeah.
so like slight
Almost
level
like
of radiation?
evolutionary. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I can see that. What I'm just what I'm like wondering is because they stated that the Tolnar are a mix of different races, and that you will be able to pick certain features from certain races. So how and some of them will be beast-like. I think that's what Steven said. So what combinations will we see? Like what do you think can we expect? Because every time I think Tolnar, I think of the Char from Guild Wars 2, just a little bit more lizard-like. Like what other like animal aspects do you think the Tolnar will have?
For my own preference, I want to see some things that are mammalian, like maybe some bats twisted in there. Obviously, rats is a common one that you could think of, that you could twist in. Obviously, I'm kind of leaning towards expecting to see more reptilian, but it'd be interesting. I want to see a good balance between the two.
Okay, what do you think?
I actually want to see a balance between them as well. The mammalians ones, I think more it would be like Rhaegar and other creatures from other games, the way it's more of a big, beefy, barbarian style, like lion or something, as well as the scaled creatures.
So, okay, so let me ask you this. Do you think you're going to see something like the Khajiit from Skyrim?
I'm hoping to see something like that.
That's one I don't want to see. I think that's more of a surface dwelling race. You're not going to see something like that dwelling beneath the surface. In the way that I picture.
Sorry. Not purely just Khajiit though. Like they would have to be a mix of something else as well. Like the idea that was thrown around that maybe it's still a mammalian creature, but it could also have scales.
Gotcha. Because see, when I look at it,
sorry, go.
I just don't see a pure race. Like when you look at some of the high fantasy races from other things like the Drow or the Khajiit, I don't think that corruption is going to result in such a pure species. I think it's going to be much more complex, because when you look at the mutation or the evolution that's being caused by the corruption, it's not wholesome. It's not like they're going to evolve naturally. You're going to see maybe malformed third limbs or things like that. I think might get thrown in there.
Want to know what?
Also,
go ahead.
Also, the idea that this isn't just something that's happened over one generation, so that if they have like understood and they're like, okay, well, this is us now, and they marry or be together interspecies at that point, there will start to be a mix of different species getting together, which is, I think also where the traits can be passed on to their next generation. Which is where it starts to mix and match, and you get maybe even they're shown that there's a creature that looks like it's got spider-like arms on its back, almost in one of the silhouettes.
Right.
It would seem. I was just gonna say one last thought. BCG, sorry.
No
It was
problem.
possible to see interbreeding like that because remember they all seem to have started from a humanoid beginning. So as the corruption kind of spread and they evolved in their different directions, they almost become their own species, and then there's going to be interbreeding.
Okay, what about this? What about this? I just want to throw this in. Have you ever played Guild Wars 2? Because in Guild Wars 2 there is this plant race, and I know this is going with a theme of mushrooms being everywhere right now in every video that we see or every live stream. So what if some of the Tolnar actually developed some mushroom-like features? Because I remember in Guild Wars 2 you were able to make one of your characters look like a mushroom. What about that?
It's Toadstool from Mario.
Mm-hmm. It could be an interesting cosmetic feature.
Yeah.
However, a bright glowing thing like that might not be the best for certain classes, especially if you're a rogue.
True.
I see, and that's the thing is, I don't think that would really fit into the dynamic of the world because you don't see any type of like, for example, we've never seen an ant yet. Things like that mentioned. So those type of creatures don't really seem to exist in the world as we know it so far. That being said, it's still possible, of course, but
there was.
I don't see it as playable.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we have to wait and see. I guess till now we only have seen two races, which is the humans and the elves. So I guess we have to wait and see. Because I'm really interested in what they're gonna do with it. I'm really interested.
You know what I think would be cool, BCG though, is what if they had elements like so you have your base race, and you can add some of those features, and maybe you have like a mushroom patch that's growing out of a certain aspect of your body, like your shoulder.
That's more.
Or something like that.
That's what I thought. More of a cosmetic thing.
Yeah, but
that'd be cool.
I could see that. All right, let's.
I noticed on one of them, there's actually looks like plant life growing off one of the silhouettes.
Which one?
So it might actually be the big sworded guy, the second one in on the top.
Yeah, that guy looks like an orc to me.
Yeah, but it does look like his right shoulder has plant life growing off it almost.
His right shoulder or his left one?
Oh, he's left facing us, which is our right.
Alright, so yeah. Could be. Alright, but
another interesting point that was made with if the city that Tolnar might be in.
Yeah.
To see if the different races that you would see down there, maybe there could be like a spider race or an insect race or something like that, as well as the main races that we could pick. If they'd be subsectioned in the city. So that this is the reptilian quarter or something like that.
Yeah, I got you.
See all those kind of things. That's the kind of lore we're going to get into later, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
I kind of like that idea that you're going there with that, Okies, because if corruption has any basis in magic and it's listed in terms of like a organic corruption, you're going to look at things that try to evolve to suit the environment that they're in. And like you said, it could be a quartered base. Like in certain sections, you're going to see more. Maybe they're even fish-like. You never know.
The corruption idea that was pitched to me sounded really ideal. Like the idea I liked was, it's not more corrupting the creature into something. It's awakening something in the history of the person or that group of people.
Okay.
So they have a heritage of reptilian, the other one has a heritage of mammalian in them. And it unlocks it over the generations.
I mean, one of the things that they have to do is, when they decide how the Tolnar look, they need to come up with reasons, lore-wise, why do they look like this? Why do the Tolnar have reptile tails? They need to be...
I agree. And that's going to be really important, BCG, because if they leave out the lore behind it, it's just another bullshit class.
Yeah. Alright, let's jump to the next topic. Where is it? There's it. Freeholds. So, a couple days ago, no, actually, was it a couple days ago? I think, it was more like a week ago. I had a conversation on the Discord with somebody concerning freeholds and how they would work. And there's still a lot of things we do not know. Like, we know that they're planning for you to be able to let your friends use your freehold guildmates and stuff like that. So What do you guys expect from freeholds? Like, there are already skins for freeholds, we know that. Like, I bought one of the $500 packs. So, okay, what do you expect from freeholds? Like, what do you want in freeholds? What don't you want in freeholds? Do you want to farm and raise little kittens on the freeholds, or what do you want to do with them?
Well, I like the idea more that like people looking at it as just a home away from another house. I look at it more as like an outpost, a further way away from the city to do things. So like you could live there and be a farmer, but if your guild was to go to you, that could be a place that they could go do smithing or things that were so they don't have to go back to a city.
Okay.
Which I like the idea of that it's an access point for your guild that saves them time of going back into the city and finding those kind of things to do.
Okay.
Also a safe haven to start, to put things. I'm hoping with a guild storage or something that they can access from the freehold.
Okay.
Would be nice.
What about you, Belle?
So, Okies, I see what you're saying there, and they offered all of that in Arcage. Was one of the games that kind of did it sort of well. I don't know if either of you guys really played that much, but one of the houses that I really liked was when you started to get into the higher tier homes, these things offered things like enhanced gardening or enhanced animal husbandry or even mining drills and things like that based upon what you needed. It looks like based on the early vision of what we saw with the freeholds, you're going to have that degree of customization just on a larger scale. I got the feel that let's say that you are you're a brewer, you own a tavern somewhere, you're going to be able to process your alcohols there within your freehold, and you're also going to be able to maybe do some of the things like intake of the raw grains and process them, or even maybe plant some certain things. Now, when it comes down to like what you had said, BCG, with permissions, Arcage, they allowed you to set your house to either public, open to guild, or open to family. I'd like to see an expansion of that since you could include certain friends at a more microscopic level, because as we all know that, we might have friends who, are in a different guild or something like that. Like I have friends that are in, right now, when you look at early game, that are in 7-8 different guilds. So how can we really drive those perms to be more meaningful than what Arcade gave us out of the box?
Okay, I mean, I have not played that much Arcade, but I think I have a feeling on where Intrepid tries to go with the freeholds, and I also know that there's going to be taxes on it. So
check out BCG. Check out Harvester Houses in Arcade just to get an image of it and see what it offered.
Yeah, I know. I remember those. Like the thing that I want to know is how much productivity and how much benefit will you get out of owning a freehold, because you always have to worry about losing everything you have when you're not losing it, you're getting it sent back to you in the mail, but the amount of effort you put into a freehold can be erased by a siege. So Okay, what do you think in regards to that whole aspect of freeholds?
Well, I like the idea that there's still an impact with it. That, as Bo was saying, that if it can further enhance a key thing you're focusing on doing, there can be a benefit to being able to farm your own herbs, create your own crops for making alcohol, even a tannery or something that's more focused for you. That makes it more worthwhile than just using the base city equipment.
Okay.
Especially if there's a benefit to it, or if there's, say, a steady influx of you get herbs all the time. Like that's not something that you have to do. Otherwise, you'd have to go out and search for it, which was what would make that the commodity people would want. It's an outpost outside the city that would also generate resources you wanted. Also looks really nice.
I mean, the thing that I want to know is how, in when it comes to crafting, how much stuff can we put into the freehold for it to help us specialize in one of the crafting aspects of the game, because we know you can specialize. So I want to know, for example, if I want to become a master alchemist, can I put everything I need into my freehold?
You know, if I look at that video that I quoted, this was back in, I think, July, August.
Yeah.
The size that you saw of the freehold and the number of structures that were in there, I have to believe that there's going to be a significant degree of customization that is able to tailor towards your area of focus,
Okay.
or maybe a very microscopic level degree of variations. But as we know, with crafting and stuff like that, it's kind of geared towards you're an expert in one area. So it seems to me, at least from looking at the screenshots that we saw early on, you'll have enough customization to do a majority of what you need.
Yeah, seeing the blow up of the image when they had the 3 side by side to show you the difference.
Yeah.
They can be customized, and even Steven said it also would depend on what size that freehold is at the time.
Yeah.
Like you could get to the higher city level where that freehold grows, and you can further customize it, honing it more towards what you need. You might be able to add an extra crop or something.
Yeah, and that's what one thing I will point out, one of the devs that's on the Intrepid team, I won't call him out by name, but his arcade fascination with customization exceeded the normal realm, so I want to say there's going to be a pretty large degree.
Well, let's hope so.
Welcome.
Yeah, let's hope so, because, like, come on. I want my dungeon of something.
I'll have to show you pictures, BCG.
Yeah.
Someday.
Yeah.
I mean,
customization is. I also look at it akin to like personalization. It makes the thing more personally yours than if you can customize things more.
Yeah. I mean, we already seen what the packs offer, and I hope in the future we're gonna see like more. And if I can make my freehold look like a miniature Castle of Doom, because all we've seen so far is like the elf stuff, like all the elf looking freeholds, and I hate that because I hate elves.
But with that, they did say that stuff can be unlocked later, so you could go find stuff in a raid even maybe.
Oh,
that's a blueprint to make something further that might be, like, say, themed to that raid, which would be cool.
That would be awesome. If you can unlock like freehold cosmetics in a raid, I would like that. I would really do like that. But I just like hope that when it comes to managing and financing a freehold, it is because I always remember housing being a pain in the ass in Arcade. Like a huge pain in the ass. And I remember Guild War, Black Desert Online was kind of fun and alright because of the apartment system, whatever. So I hope there is enough space so everybody can at least try out having their own freeholds. And I hope there won't be any mass purchases of freeholds by one person.
I think that I can probably put that to rest for you already, BCG, just in knowing the world size.
Yeah.
And knowing that he's already talked about instance apartments. So you're going to have almost like a blended approach. And we already know that in speculation, the world side is going to far exceed that of Arcade. So I don't think you're going to see that problem.
Alright.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Between the three, the in city housing, the instance apartments, and the freeholds will be enough that there won't be a bicker over it. And the latter two, compared to the freehold, will not have as much of a risk being out in that area as well.
Okay. Well,
so that could be a deterrent for people to actually do it, which means those who really want them can then fight over them.
Well, let's hope so. Alright, let's jump to the next topic. Because actually, yeah, we were talking way too long about some of these topics. I did not plan for us to go this long. Next topic. Where is it? There it is. Armor and weapon sets. What do you expect? What do you want to see? And what don't you want to see? Because we know that there's only one type of armor, which is going to be the same for PvP, PvE, and sieges. So what sort of maybe armor, weapon bonuses, set bonuses would you like to see? Bill, what do you think?
This one I'm really on the rope with because I like the idea that he stated that any class could use any weapon or any gear. So, man, I don't know. Sometimes I really like to take a blended approach, so I'm hoping that stats can be. Let's talk about tiers. So, if you I don't really know what the total number of pieces are going to be that you can carry, but let's just go off the basis and say, okay, so my chest and my legs are heavy armor, and the rest of it is medium armor. Can I get benefits for wearing 2 pieces of heavy and then, 3 or 4 pieces of medium that drive in at that tier? Or do we have to be full set to get bonuses? That for me is the key factor in what type of gear I'm going to wear and how constructive I'm going to get with it. I don't know a lot about it just yet, so it's kind of hard to say.
I mean,
I think there was a pro and con on that. They said about maybe if you're not a plate wearer wearing plate, you don't get the benefit of the bonus ability from it, but you get more armor. Like that was going to be the trade-off.
But if you do that, Okies, the problem with it is going to be that, yeah, you might get that benefit of the additional armor, but if you lose the bonus for having to wear a full set, you might as well just forget the idea of offering a blended set approach. Because those benefits typically, in all, at least from my perspective in all games I've played, you lose out so much that there's no value to it.
Oh, I know. I'm going to be playing a summoner, and I want to be able to wear plate, mail, and other like in leather, not just one-offs.
Now, I do agree that you should be able to, let's say there's a set bonus for the amounts that you have, like do you have 2 pieces of this thing, 3 pieces? Yeah. I think that would be logical because let's look at the physics of a heavy set. You're going to have all this armor. Let's say you're just wearing the chest, but your arms are as vulnerable as shit because you have cloth on, or same with your legs. You're wearing a bikini because that's what BCG does.
Wait, what?
Really, you become an easy target. How can you justify having the bonus to having additional armor if it's only in your core, whereas you're wearing, a Speedo and a t-shirt?
I can tell you because I look fabulous in a Speedo, and everything that hits me just flies off. There you go. Logic.
In the real world, where that argument doesn't hold up like it doesn't right now, you see what I'm saying though? Like,
yeah.
So you have this core coat of iron, but any smart player with any skill on their weapon is going to say, okay, dumbass, you're easy to hit in all these other areas, so I'm just going to chop you off and make you a quadriplegic.
It's gonna be interesting to see how the stat values transfer over.
I mean,
I know like the worst thing's gonna be is if there's a static value on the item, like so say you're a spellcaster and you can't use plate as much because it's a strength-based armor. That's sort of a deterrent at that point. If it's based on if you can make a set of armor out of it, like so say I get a set of plate armor that I really like the stats, the set bonus on. If there was a way for us to use that in the crafting, the way that they're using the crafting in the game, to harness that into a plate set that I can build for my summoner, that's like more the core I'm hoping for in the game, where I understand there's a tank build for it, or there's a tank set, but I could craft it to be my summoner tank set, so it still gets the benefits.
Let me ask you this, Mookie. So I know you want to play with a plate set, but let's say just for mobility purposes, you're not talking about a full plate set, but you're like, I want to be able to move my arms more freely because summoning requires motility of my arms and my legs to do some of the glyphs or whatever. Maybe if you scale it down to a scale mail or the micro plate mail so that you have more motility, do you think that those sets could work synergistically and you would receive a different type of bonus just for working in that kind of a set?
That's what I'm hoping to see.
I mean,
how it would affect us. Whether each piece has to be, like if there's a set for the level of that, so like heavy armor only has it if you get more heavy armor pieces, or so if there's a 2 set piece bonus, can I have 4 2 pieces? Does that give me the 2 set piece bonus from each set? Sort of like those balancing things that we got to see.
I would hope so.
Well, that will make sense. Like one of the things that I just don't want to see is a rogue or a ranger with a leather set all of a sudden having the same amount of health and hit points as like a full plated guardian.
That's a good point right there, BCG. The one thing I don't want to see armor do is impart things like hit points.
Because one of the things that I hate the most in MMORPGs these days is if you have a tank that looks like a Korean stripper and that just and has like nothing on, but apparently she can take like a direct hit from a dragon without anything happening.
Well, like I said, maybe not hit points, BCG, but what if wearing full heavy plate like that, you have an impact to your stamina, but your overall defense and mitigation is significantly increased? Because, I mean, from a stamina perspective, if I'm wearing 50 pounds of gear, yeah, I'm a strong person, but there's no way in hell I'm running at a full sprint or doing full-out combat for an hour in that set of gear.
I mean,
it could always have a negative effect as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's also like the possibility of, you know, a master craftsman, a master blacksmith being able to you know, put different stats on a full set of plate armor.
Yeah, mitigating the negatives and somehow adding to the positives in, you know, motility range or dexterity. I mean, we really don't even know what the base attributes are going to be and how they play with you. So
yeah, definitely. All right, let's jump to the next topic because we got 2 more to go. Rare drops. We know, for example, that flying mounts are going to be rare dropped that are timed, meaning if you find a rare mount or a rare egg that has a rare mount in it that is a flying mount, you can bring it to a breeder. He does his thing, and then you have a flying mount for a certain amount of time. What other rare drops would you guys like to see? And we're gonna make this like a quick round because we're actually running out of time. So okay, what other rare drops would you like to see? And golden sandal does not count as an answer.
Well, some of the named artifacts would be nice. I more was hoping that the rare items, if they're not like the legendary top tier item, just a bit lower than that, it would be more material based things that you could then craft a higher set of armor with, something that has benefit to everybody, not just, oh, I found this sword and I'm not someone who uses a sword, so it's worthless to my class.
Okay, what about you, Bill? One rare drop that you would like to see in the game?
One ring to rule them all, one ring to find them, one ring to bring them all, and in the darkness find them.
You really did not just quote freaking Lord of the Rings. Okay.
I mean, come on.
But please, it's not a cock ring, is it?
I don't think that any of those would fit you. It'd have to be really small. But no.
Yeah, I deserve that. I deserve that.
I think the jewelry sets are one of those ones because what did the cultures leave behind that may have persevered through all those years of absence?
Yeah, an amulet or a ring or a trinket would be nice. I'm hoping that if it is though, it is that overarching bonus, not a stat. That was one of those things I was going to heavily double down on the last section as well. That with set bonuses and benefits that we're going to get in the game, I just hope they're not just raw stat bonuses, because those raw stat bonuses in the game are what people like to stack and that become not beneficial to every class.
But for some it will be.
A cool bonus would be nice.
I mean, one of the things that I always liked, where, for example, in World of Warcraft, before legendaries became a freaking pain in the ass, handy, and everybody had them. There, for example, during Cataclysm Firelands, there was a quest where you got a staff that turned you into a dragon. So I would not mind finding a rare drop that actually turns me into like my mount.
The idea of a long quest chain would be nice.
Yeah, like
to unlock the thing you're looking for.
Yeah, like for
your mount.
Yeah, for example, I find a rare drop, starts a quest chain that takes me several weeks. I finish the quest chain, and then afterwards, I am able to turn into a direwolf, and somebody can ride me.
It sounds like you want the Wabberjockey stuff from what was that game? I don't even know.
I like the idea, the concept that was just pitched to me too. The idea of if we get something that's a weapon, say a dagger, to have it be a broken item you find, and then you go through the steps of making it back to that legendary item.
Yeah.
So, and you can craft it to be more towards your playstyle as that class. So if you're a rogue, you can set it to be a rogue style dagger, or you can make it a caster dagger or something like that, depending on how you evolve it as you're playing through.
Oh, I get that. I like that.
But the thing here is, like, if these are rare drops, how do you really make them rare? And what is rare? Because one thing I got so sick and tired of seeing is like, okay, so I grind out this set in Lord of the Rings, and hate me or not for playing that game, but I spent a month grinding a set of gear. I finally get it, and then I walk over, and there's the next guy, and he has that set of gear. Make it really rare. If it's a legendary, there should only be one of them. Period.
Yeah,
One person has that.
Well, legendary, I understand. I meant more like if it was just even just the epic,
Okay.
the one under it, or whatever the one under it would
Well,
be.
yeah, there needs to be a history to it. Like, I would love
Yeah.
to see if there's a piece of gear that becomes, let's say, epic tier. There's a story to that. Like, somehow that attaches back to who crafted that piece of gear. Why is it really epic? That would add an awesome element, because I know we have a huge RP community that also, you know, is interested in things like that. So, I mean, there you go. That caters to that element.
The one that was referenced to me is actually the one from Wrath of the Lich King in WoW. The broken hilt you find, and then you have to create the legendary or the epic weapon from it. And like that become a big joke of like there is no other part to the blade, and it takes so long to get. But its benefits were not huge, but enough that it was something seeked after. I would like a unique thing on it without it being game breaking too, though. Not being the seeked after item.
I mean, rare for me is something that you cannot grind for. For example, in Black Desert Online, even there are items that are really hard to get, but you know how to get them. You know which mobs you have to kill to get them. Like, rare for me is something with a 0.01% chance of dropping, and it's a world drop, meaning everything everywhere can drop it. And then a legendary is something that even has a lower percentage of dropping, and then it can only drop once.
So I disagree with that. I'm sorry, I totally have to disagree with that, because if it's rare, okay, that means you have a world chance to drop it somewhere. If it's legendary, it's one, and it's somewhere, and it's hidden, and you gotta find that shit if you want it. Yeah, and you're gonna be the only one that ever had it. Period.
Yeah, I
like the idea that if you find it, it was fate that made you find it. But it's not something that you actively went, I know where it is, and go and get it.
All right.
But like, let's look at this, Oki. So you know, I love the Lord of the Rings. So there were 9 rings for the race of men. That to me is, obviously those are legendary tier items, and the mythic tier is the One Ring. Well, if you look at some of the other things that come into play here, so let's say it's at Celestial tier, and I'm sorry for quoting Archage, those are the items that, let's say, a great smith like Celebrimbor did throughout his life. Like, he made XYZ numbers of armor sets, and he was that good. That's the tier that you would find, and you might find that randomly on a mob who is maybe elite tier, but other than that, you know, even the exclusivity of those is pretty high.
Yeah, I guess we have to.
Well, I like the idea that if you find something that's that tier, so in other games where it's the mythical or legendary or higher, is that those things are a one-off set that were made for a person. It's a named set or a named item that it has a purpose more to than just being, oh, it's a named thing that we just found. Like, it found its way to you from an elite. You found, he might have found it somewhere and brought it back, and you killed him, and then you got it.
God, I hope so.
Yeah.
I don't want to see commonality amongst gear sets.
Yeah, please not. Please make gear special. All right, let's jump to the last topic for today. Your thoughts and opinions on the bounty system. Okay, quick, one line. What do you think? What do you want from the bounty system?
I want it to be rewarding but also difficult, so that it actually requires a bit of challenge to do, and it's not something that every person in the game is going to want to do.
All right, Bell, what about you?
If you're going to work as a bounty hunter, I think that you should have to rely on the same channels of information finding that the rest of us do for things like world events. Like you would have to go in a tavern and ask those pertinent questions. Have you seen BCG? Has he ever come through here? And then you piece together a bread trail. It should be that challenging. Otherwise, I don't want to see your blip on a map just because you're corrupt. Otherwise, I think that's unfair for those of us that are going to run in the red. That's corrupt. That's bullshit. What did I do? Put on GPS? Where did that come from? I mean, was that a holdover from another race, and I signed up for to have that implant installed?
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I agree with that, because like one of the things that I also want is there to be an option for dead or alive, that you have the choice to bring somebody back alive to get a higher reward, because that would add a whole new aspect of the bounty system. Because right now, the way I imagine it, or the way I know it is, if somebody has a bounty on them, you go kill them, you get the reward. What if you...
Okay.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is you would be able to take them captive, transport them back to the city. Okay, that's good, but I would still rather go out and kill you, take your head, kill Oki's, take your head, and carry out a bunch of heads, and then throw them into the back of my wagon.
Yeah.
I'd go Boba Fett on you. Yeah, I agree. I'd go Boba Fett.
Go.
You don't even PvP. I'm not worried about you.
Yeah, good luck. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. I see you coming a mile away, honey. I know kung fu.
I do like the idea that, I mean, like some of the ideas that were pitched to me about how we got around the comment about the whole, coming up as a blip on the screen.
Yeah.
If it was a magical item that the bounty hunters had that would show only if they got to a certain corruption, so you'd have to be really high in the corruption, like to the point where you're just killing everyone near you.
But to do that, let's look at voodoo. It's a principle where people think that they can track and do things to voodoo dolls, right? So how are you going to track me? Do you own something personally from me? Maybe at a crime scene where I saw 60 people and left something behind?
The example given was the arcane detection detects the corruption in you, not you. So it doesn't flag. If there's 10 people in the area that corrupt, it'll show me the 10 people. It won't show me you directly.
Again, that goes back to the nature of corruption. Is it magical, or is it more
that's
organic?
Theory crafting it,
Yeah, we don't know yet. Okay, so anyways, let's stop right here because we're actually almost out of time. I want to thank everybody who was watching. I want to thank Bell and Oki for joining me. I let Bell and Oki, if you want to plug something yourself, your guilds, I don't know, whatever, you go ahead. If anybody in chat has a question for Oki or Bell or myself, go ahead and ask now. And yeah, so who wants to go first?
Go for it, Oki.
Okay, I demand that you plug yourself.
I don't know what to plug. I'm Oki. You can find me normally on the Discord. We're trying to also start community games and stuff to keep people interested and playing together. That goes for everyone, not just guild based. And I think the only thing I ask people to do is please be nice in the Discord and the forums, because we are a community that should be together, not separated.
I second that. And I don't know, whatever comes after second that. I agree on that.
So we go now?
I don't know if you want to. Like we can.
Awesome. Alright, so you guys pretty much know where to find me. I'm in all the official channels, and restrictively only in those official channels because I don't need no fucking guild. But the reality of it is here, if you guys are at all interested in the content creator program that Ashes is putting together, that is my sole focus. That is where I spend all of my time and my efforts in working to build and promote that aspect of our future game.
Awesome. So yeah, everybody, if you're a content creator, if you feel like you can do content for Ashes of Creation, is it YouTube or is it Twitch or Mixer or I don't know, whatever you do, please contact Bell and talk to her. Please. Thank you. So anyways, there were not a lot of people watching tonight, which is okay because, you know, let's be honest. But we got one question for Sarumonen, which is Bell High, that's all, and Okies is a good fellow.
Who the fuck is Saruman?
I heard he is one of those purple wizards that make stuff reappear and appear on the official Discord, just like yourself.
Oh, that's right. He's ratting ass.
Okay, so like I said, thank you everybody for watching. We will be back in 2 weeks. Like always, stay safe, stay nice, stay fresh, and it's either good morning, good night, or good afternoon, depending on where you are. Later, guys.
Bye.